Are you ready to turn the firework launcher into a deadly anti-personnel weapon? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to explore the firework launcher's deadly capabilities. So let's begin our testing and experimenting. Now, the first thing I want you to know about the firework launcher, both the large and small version, is that it can fit both the fireworks and you can also put in the flare gun rounds. So let's just spawn a few of them in there as well. So you can see it takes the flare gun clip as well. And this is extremely useful because if we don't want the fireworks going off and we just want flares to be launched from the firework launcher, we can do just that. So we're going to work our way through some basic designs and build upon each one, getting a little bit further. So this was the initial prototype, and it's the idea that you'd have the firework launcher down a corridor, you could have it behind a door or around the side, and if we disable our invulnerability, making these characters be able to be killed, we hit the button, and as the fireworks are launched, you can see it ejects them astronauts. But there's a few downsides to this. The fireworks, when they impact an object, they actually explode, where the flare guns, if we use the flare gun ammunition, it'll bounce off the side and be a little bit safer. So this is design number 2. So we've got a fully working corridor over here, like so. And we hit number 1, it rotates the flare launcher down, and then it fires them through. So you can see this one is armed with more flares, as well as fireworks, but is pretty effective at clearing out that corridor. Oh, it even cleared me out! So effectively, you kind of have an area denial weapon. Whoever goes down this corridor will not be able to get to the end. Stick a welder behind that firework launcher and you've pretty much denied them access. They're going to have to find another way in. And what is good about this is once the corridor is cleared out, you can disable the firework launcher, flip it up, send your guys right back in. So it's quite a useful little contraption, but let's take this a step further. So next up, we're going to set up a little scenario. We've got a corridor or an airlock down below, like so. Let's have a quick look inside. So we've got 2 astronauts here in at the moment, and we're going to spawn a few more test subjects in as well. So we'll go to our replay tool and we'll add some characters in. So we'll add 2 more in there, and we'll change between these characters. So we'll say one's at the door, trying to grind the door down. We'll put one there. We'll change character again. Let's say one's helping him at the door. Let's change the other characters. One's just generally looking around and covering the room, and we'll switch to the other one as well, and this guy can be standing somewhere over here just watching generally what's going on. So this is your standard sort of breaching party. You've got 3 guys over there, you've got 1 guy over here. Now that breaching party's entered into an area that we don't want them in, and we want to get rid of them extremely quickly. So you might notice there's a block that looks a little suspicious in the middle of the room here, and this is the anti-personnel device. So with the hit of the first button, it pops up out of the floor. You can see just like that. With the hit of the second button, it starts rapidly rotating. And finally is the anti-personnel measures. So as these fires, these clear out all of the people out of the room with ricocheting flares. So once it is done, we can just reset the system. I just need to wire this up now so it's on a little timer block. That'll be the next step. But you can see it's quite effectively cleared out the room. They could start shooting at it and engaging it, you're right. But hopefully it takes them out in such a quick amount of time that it can be locked away. So once it's rotated, it seals back into the floor. We can open up the airlock and we can continue on with clearing out the rest of our ship. So let's have a bit more of a further experiment with this and I'll show you how it works. So while the cleanup crew clean up the rest of the test chamber, let's show you what this device actually does and how it works. So on each side of this device we have 4 firework launchers, but instead of loading fireworks we have actually loaded flares. Now the reason we've loaded flares is, like I said before, is that they have a very good sort of rebound ability. They can bounce off multiple surfaces, and that allows us to fire multiple in the room and literally fill the room up with flares that will take down astronauts very quickly and effectively, even if they're running around like headless chickens. So coming down to this level, we have ourselves a large grid rotor. We've got that connected up to a small rotor head, a small piston, and then that just connects itself up to the device itself. Now I've also brought it up to this level, and we've got a flat floor, so it doesn't really look too much different than the rest of the room. It is quite obvious that there's something there, but if you're just breaching into this pod, you're not going to expect it to the last moment. You could obviously do more to conceal and hide this if you wanted to, maybe using a large block in this place instead. But for the moment, it does everything that we need. Right, so we've set up some different timer blocks now. So we've got a timer block that activates the system and a timer block that disables it after 10 seconds. Now, there's a few other ways we can configure this. We could configure this with a sensor, so as soon as it detects enemies, it pops up. but we can also configure it with an AI block. So this AI block will trigger that when this gate has any damage done to it. So we'll just do a quick preliminary test with the timers first. So this timer is going to start the system. Okay, everything seems to be working quite well. Okay, and after 10 seconds, it should stop and reverse and go down. Okay, it has certainly made a bit of a mess of the people in there. There does seem to be a weakness, though. Whoever seems to be on the top there seems to be relatively safe. That's something we'll have to work on maybe in a Mark III. But for the other moment, even if there was 50 people trying to breach into your ship, you would be relatively okay, and only part of one got through. So the next little application for these firework launchers is Rovers. We've all been in a situation with Rovers where we've been travelling across the wasteland or whatnot, and we've had someone get underneath our wheels with a grinder. So we've got a few test subjects lined up here, and you might say, oh, just run them over, but sometimes they get right underneath and within the suspension, so we need some sort of system that can shoot them out. Yes, interior turrets would be quite useful here, but you could also have some flares as well to try and clear them out. So I've set these up next to the wheels for the moment, so we'll head on inside and we'll get up to the cockpit. And now that we're in the cockpit here, we can activate our systems. We'll go to F8 so we can see. We can activate our launchers, and as you can see, we've already taken out one of the players there. We can activate these again, and as we start moving, we'll start taking more and more out. So let's give it a little bit of acceleration if we can. So with a system like this, if you do get people between your wheels, even if they do get right underneath, you can either push them out or you can get them off. So you can see that the flares are doing a good job of covering in between our wheels there. Yes, you could risk using explosives or rocket launchers, but combine a few of these flares with some interior turrets, and I think you've got quite a good defense for between your wheels, and as well as your undercarriage as well. If you get them at a good slope, they should be able to cover off to the side. Now, I was having so much fun messing around with this and just trying to expand on this idea. I thought, let's try and hijack one of them cleaning bots from the Frostbite thing. So we've got a cleaning bot here behind the door, and if we open this, it comes out very angrily, hopefully not getting stuck, and then approaching the astronauts, and when it comes in range, it should activate. Oh, is it going to be close enough? Oh, I don't know if it's going to be close enough for this guy. Let's just push him into it. There we go. So that's just another weird and wonderful contraption. So yeah, it's just a cleaning bot from Frostbite, and then when you get close to it, I'll wind it up with a sensor so it'll go firing the fireworks out the side. So you could have this patrolling the corridors. Perhaps you could even control it yourself, and it's that small. You could drive it out into the corridors and clear your way through hordes of enemies. So that concludes my experimentation with the firework launcher today. I would love to hear in the comment section below if this has given you any ideas on what we could possibly make in terms of anti-personnel weapons or any sort of weapon with the firework launcher, or maybe some alternative uses. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, it would be much appreciated. Anyway, I will see you next time.